Hi guys, now that London is back in lockdown, I've finally found some time to edit this. So every Monday we have around 5 to 8 virtual lectures, and here's a time lapse of the first two, which were based on chromosomal disorders and prenatal genetic screening. Next, I filled in my virtual portfolio for the previous week. Later on, I started the next lecture on parturition and lactation. This was very heavily research based and discussed the theories behind what governs the timing of birth. I then went for a walk in one of my favourite parks, and this is what makes Monday one of my favourite days of the week. Once I got back home, I completed the lectures of the day because the last two were relatively quick and easy to get through. On Tuesdays we have our hospital placement days, and I always try to cram in some info into my brain on the train journey in. I'm currently on the elderly persons unit. Dua and I tried explaining what we get up to on our aging placement here, but unfortunately we cannot be serious around each other for 5 seconds, so I thought I'd include a little breakdown here. On this block there are a lot of history taking opportunities. We have a framework that we adapt depending on the patient we're speaking to and the information we're trying to obtain. This is then later used as part of our reflective notes. These are essentially mini essays submitted on our virtual portfolio. On there we just talk about the patient presentation, diagnosis, management and so on. As well as this, we try to carry out as many clinical skills on the wards as we can. Lastly, we go over clinical examinations, namely cardiovascular, resp and abdo. After clinical skills, we head off to the other hospital to meet with our clinical tutor. We're based on the respiratory ward, and we use this time to go through pathologies and carry out resp and cardiovascular examinations on patients. We finish at around 5:30ish, and whenever I'm in the area I usually meet up with my friends for some dinner and then head home. I started the day off with some note-taking from this OSCE book. Every Wednesday we have anatomy teaching. Usually these would be in the form of dissection labs, but obviously this year is different and we're basically given these worksheets to complete and we discuss them on a Zoom call with an anatomy demonstrator. I then went over the thorax imaging lectures before meeting up with my friend for dinner in the evening. On Thursdays we have a module called Introduction to Clinical Research, but in all honesty I just read through the slides for this module. Here my partner and I were preparing our slides and multiple choice questions for a session on Saturday where we teach students in the year below. This involved going over enzyme kinetics and the embryology of skeletal muscle. After that I went through some flashcards, then went on a walk and my brother ordered some pizza for lunch. When we go into placement, we either have a teaching clinic where we learn from consultations and carry out clinical skills, or we have patient bank, and this is where we consult with 2 of our own patients throughout the year. After I finished at the GP in the morning, I grabbed some chocolate, stopped off at Lush and then got the train home. these are the products I picked up and then got ready for the virtual Zoom call, which was about flu vaccinations today. Once that was over, I was literally so lethargic, so I decided to go and buy some stationery to get me motivated to be productive over the weekend.
陽子たちとちょうどそれ見終わった時電話がかかってきて無言電話だったみたい。